part of my job is answering questions about Immaculate Grid errors, misconceptions, things like that. Most of the time, they stem from just not fully understanding how the category works.
The category was Gold Glove and Angels, and I guessed very confidently Mike Trout. But then I learned that even though he won the Platinum Glove, he somehow never won a Gold Glove.
So we have players with the same names. There are two Sam Kerrs currently playing in women's football. One plays for Chelsea. She's from Australia. One is from Scotland. She currently plays for Liverpool on loan from Bayern. So those two can get confused if you don't select the right one.
A lot of times in football in particular, a player will be signed to a roster and never actually appear in a game. So a lot of folks don't realize that in order to count on the grid, they need to have been on the field. They need to have appeared in a regular season or postseason game. So another one I get asked about a lot is Tim Tebow. Whenever he had his brief stint as a tight end, he never actually appeared in a regular season game as a tight end, so he can't be used for tight end categories.
When we use the Negro Leagues category in the grid, people will often ask us why Ernie Banks or Henry Aaron don't work for that particular cell. And that's because the category is actually played in the major Negro Leagues, and the major Negro Leagues occurred between 1920 and 1948. The Negro Leagues did extend beyond 1948, but at that point, many of the top stars had moved on to the American League and National League, and that's actually the era when Banks and Aaron and some other stars like Sandy Almiros, who eventually played for the Dodgers, played in the Negro League. So that's why they actually don't work for that category, but good to be thinking about them.
A fun thing for clubs and when you're playing in general, if you know the men's game or the women's game a little bit better, is that if the club, especially the European clubs, have both a men's and women's side under their umbrella, so let's say Chelsea or Arsenal, if you see that club represented at the top of the grid or as one of the categories, you can submit a men's or a women's player for that category.
We use a category through a no-hitter. And for the most part, that's straightforward. It can be a no-hitter or a perfect game. The one I get asked about the most, July 1st, 1990, Andy Hawkins for the Yankees threw a no-hitter in the sense that he pitched a full game without allowing a hit and still lost. However, it was removed from the official list of no-hitters by MLB a couple of years later because he didn't pitch a full 9 innings. He gave up a sac fly after walking the bases loaded in the ninth, and so didn't get the full 9 innings, therefore not officially a no-hitter.
You can choose a manager for the Hall of Fame, but it has to be for a team that they played for, not managed for. So what's interesting there is that Joe Torre will work for the Braves and not the Yankees, and Bobby Cox will work for the Yankees but not the Braves, which is kind of backwards if you're thinking about them as managers, but that's what they were as players.